Hi there. In this video, I'll show you how I turned this pile of pennies into this piece of art. This video is in collaboration with the Tinyartteam, a group of artists here on YouTube who make tiny paintings. The channels participating this month are... all their links will be in the description, so be sure to see how their tiny paintings turned out. Also, stay tuned to the end for an update on my art contest. If you end up liking this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more artsy videos. The idea was painting on coins, and so I went with pennies. Dimes are actually smaller, but they're worth more, so I didn't want to waste them. First thing I had to do was clean the nasty things, so I set up a small bowl with water, dish soap, baking soda, which I guess I forgot to film me pouring, and white vinegar. It was already starting to fizz up. I may have poured too much. For some reason, I felt the need to make it spill because it was just holding together too perfectly. I added the pennies, let them soak for a while, and then gave them a quick scrub with an old toothbrush. After they were dry, it was time to prep them for paint. I finally got my hands on some acrylic gesso, so after I laid the pennies out on some rolled up tape to keep them in place, I started coating them in the gesso. It looks pretty opaque as I'm painting it on, but it did not dry that way. I planned on this artwork going into a 5" by 7" picture frame, and with a quick mock-up on Procreate, I figured that out to comfortably fit 48 pennies. I have a few extra here to account for possible mistakes. From 1 layer of gesso to 10 million. That's what it felt like anyway. I'll need something to attach the pennies to, so I measured a piece of watercolor paper to be the same size as the glass of the picture frame, which yes, I did slice my finger open on the glass in case you were wondering. Don't worry, no blood got on the paper. No, but seriously, be careful with the glass from picture frames when you're handling them. I don't know why I didn't think it would cut me, but I didn't even notice it until I washed my hands later. That's how dedicated I am. Since my picture frame is black, I decided to have the background of my penny painting also be black. Since the portrait I'm painting on these pennies will have a light skin tone, I also thought it would help create a nice contrast. I just stuck some rolled up pieces of tape to hold the paper down so I could cover it with some black acrylic paint. Once that was dry, I taped the watercolor paper down again so I could attach the pennies. I debated on whether to use super glue or hot glue, and I went with hot glue for 2 reasons. One, my husband said with super glue it might be more difficult to remove the pennies if I messed up and needed to replace 1 or 2, like it would potentially tear the paper more. And reason 2, I didn't actually have any super glue, so hot glue it is. I arranged all the pennies first to be where I needed them. And no, I did not make sure to have them all facing the same way because why? Don't you think I have enough to do as it is? Jeez. At first I was worried that the hot glue wasn't going to work, but it did. It was super annoying though. There were strings of hot glue after every single penny. I won't make you watch this whole process, just some of it. I made this video, you're watching this video, we're in this together. Now on to the actual painting, which I was looking forward to the least actually. I have this fear of messing up my art, and my way to combat that is to just not do it. Or at least put it off as long as possible. But I had made a commitment to this collab and the other creators, and I was pretty excited about the idea I had of doing a more extreme version of my last tiny painting, which I'll link in the card and description, where I painted 1 portrait across 4 mini canvases. I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do that again, but on an even smaller scale? And so yeah, here I am doing it. To start, I mixed up my base skin color and mapped out where the shape of the face was. I did make a mock-up of this in Procreate, so it was basically like using the grid method. If you're not familiar with that, it's where you create a grid on a photo or a picture and put the same grid on your drawing paper and just fill out each piece of the grid with the corresponding section of the photo. I hope that made sense. I'm not a teacher. On Procreate, I made a 5x7 canvas and I traced a penny so I'd have the correct size, and I just duplicated that circle shape and placed them in rows until they filled out the entire canvas. I did leave a small space on every side so that none of the pennies would be covered up by the frame and you could see the entire image. Even with just the sketch of the eyebrows and the lashes painted on, I was getting pretty stoked for how this would turn out. It was already looking pretty cool. My reference photo didn't have that many shadows, so I tried to amp those up to give the face some more interest. I also thought it would be more difficult to not get any paint onto the black background, but I surprised myself and only had a few small spots to fix. And now that I've talked her ears off, I'll see you at the end of the video for the final look and more about the art contest. And here's the final piece, all framed up. I'm really happy with the outcome of this painting, and I think it's a cool follow-up to my last tiny painting. I'm not sure how well I'll do this one, or if I'll even be able to. I was even thinking as I was filming the last shots of it in the frame, it could have been cool to not have the pennies glued down, and it could sort of be like a puzzle. Don't forget to check out the other members of the Tiny Art team and see what they came up with. Okay, about the contest. There is just 1 week left to enter my 500 subscriber art contest, in which one person will win a $25 Amazon gift card sent to them by me. I'll link my video detailing the prompt and the rules. It'll be in the card and the description and the comments. Please subscribe if you'd like more artsy content from me, and be sure to like this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you around soon. Bye guys!